Good evening and welcome to the February 10th meeting of the Florissant City Council. Will Mr. David Miller, the Veteran of the Year, and members of VFW Post 4105 please lead us in our, come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Fuda, Shildroth,
Here.
Stinnett, Pagano, Schmidt, Hernandez, Lee, Gribb, Egan.
Seeing we have a quorum, I call this meeting to order. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. Do we have any corrections or additions to our meeting minutes of January 27th? Seeing none, Mr. Hernandez moves for approval, second by Mr. Caputa. All those in favor? Aye. Do we have any corrections or additions to our work session minutes of January 23rd? Seeing none, Mr. Schmidt moves for approval, second by Mr. Gribb. All those in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda, we have a presentation for VFW Post 4105. Mr. Mayor? Mr. Stinnett?
You bring this with you though. You're done. When you go up there after this. Go with the mayor. Velvet, yeah. When do we do that? After we do the rest of it. After we pass it.
Actually, we're not making a presentation. We're receiving one this evening.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm the commander of Florissant VFW. The city of Florissant is very gracious to us, so we wanted to recognize a few people who have stood out and really have been a good friend to the VFW. So on behalf of the Florissant VFW, we wanted to present Mayor Schneider with an award from the Veterans of Foreign Wars and also Councilman Pat Stinnett.
We have a very patriotic community. We have numerous veterans organizations, and we're very proud of the work that the VFW does. Proud of each and every one has gone in harm's way that is eligible to be a member of the VFW. We would encourage all veterans to consider membership in our Post 4105. And I just want to say thank you for your service to our country, and also thank you for your service to our community. Mr. Stinnett?
Thank you, Mayor. And I would like to say thank you to the men and women of VFW Post 4105, which I am a member of also. It's always an honor to be recognized by your peers, the folks you work with every day. For those that don't know, the Veterans of Foreign Wars is an organization that consists of approximately 1.3 million folks, veterans worldwide. The state of Missouri has 35,000 approximately, and there's 350 out of Post 4105 of men and women that have served their country. This post in the last year, in the year 2013, turned in excess of 5,000 volunteer hours out of 350 volunteers. This includes time at the USO, time at funerals for veterans, honor guards, time spent at the veterans home, time spent visiting veterans that are homebound or with their widows, taking care of them. There is great good that comes out of the VFW, as well as the American Legion and the Vietnam veterans also. All of the veterans organizations, and don't let me leave out the Korean War veterans either. There's a few Second World War veterans left, but most of them are not as active as they used to be, still around. But I think it's a great honor that we have with the veterans in our community and the activities that they take care of, that they perform, and the folks that they take care of. So from myself and I think the other members of the council, I say thank you to the Post. Thank you for the good work.
Thank you. I'd like to make an introduction, if I may, Mr. President. We have our new Human Resource Director. Sonia, would you come up? Sonia Brooks White, welcome to City of Florissant.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Sonia comes to us from the City of Ferguson. She was the Human Resource Director for the City of Ferguson, and we're just so delighted that you were available when Chris Roth decided to retire. I asked her to try to recruit someone that could try to fill her shoes, and we're so happy that you decided to join us. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here, Council, and residents of City of Florissant. I'm actually consider myself a resident, even though I'm like 2 blocks outside of the boundaries. I actually grew up in Western St. Louis County, went to Kansas State University where I studied human resources management, and I also have my master's from Webster University, and just recently received my certification in human resources. So it's a pleasure to be here, and it's been a great and smooth transition, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Is Karen Bellman here tonight, or any members of the Bellman family? Nope. Okay. We will go ahead tonight with this resolution and pass it and present it to Mrs. Bellman later when she can be here.
Ready? You need to put it on the floor.
I'll make a motion,
This resolution number.
resolution number 967.
Resolution of the Mayor and Florissant City Council recognizing Mr. Gary Bellman for 25 years of commitment to the betterment of the lives of people with disabilities.
Mr. Lee moves for a second reading, second by Mr. Stennett. All those in favor? Aye.
Resolution of the Mayor and Florissant City Council recognizing Mr. Gary Bellman for his 25 years of commitment to the betterment of the lives of people with disabilities. Roll
Mr.
call.
Caputo.
Motion for a third.
Motion for a third.
Second.
Mr. Caputo moves for a third, second by Mr. Egan.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Caputa. Yes. Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Yes.
Resolution of the Mayor and the Florissant City Council recognizing Mr. Gary Bellman for his 25 years of commitment to the betterment of the lives of people with disabilities.
Before the final vote is taken on this resolution, is there anyone who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Caputa. Yes. Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Yes.
Resolution is passed. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have hearing from citizens. There are none. Next on the agenda, we have communications. There are none. Next on the agenda, we have public hearing. Public hearing number 14-02-002.
In accordance with Section 405, 310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 10, 2014, at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to Parsons Oil Company, LLC, DBA Parsons Convenience Store and Gas Station to allow for the operation of a convenience store and filling station for the property located at 12785 New Halls Ferry Road. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Mr. Parsons here tonight? Could you speak?
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Tom Parsons, 8600 DeWiggins, West Alton, Missouri.
Could you tell us about your project, please?
It's a convenience store gas station. It's located in front of my current office/warehouse. I purchased the property about 2 years ago or so. I own and operate several convenience stores currently, and we just simply want to get this one back up and running and operational.
Anyone on council have any questions? Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Parsons. How you doing? Really, the only question I have is, I guess with regard to the office warehouse building that's behind this particular gas station, because that seemed to be some bone of contention with P&Z. The way I understand it, you're not going to use that building at all, even though that's part of the property.
Yeah, we're currently using it.
Oh, you are going to use it?
Yeah, we're currently using it.
For what?
We have our offices in it. We use the warehouse for storage of, just excess equipment.
Because according to P&Z, you were only going to use it for storage, but you are going to use it for an office building as well. Okay, so then you're going to end up restriping the parking lot for...
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
The parking spaces and all that. I know that was a contention with P&Z as well.
Yeah,
okay.
we paved all of the office warehouse area, I guess it was year before last, and restriped it then, but yeah, we need to probably repave and replace concrete, add the convenience store area out front, then we'll restripe it as well.
Okay. That's really all I have. I know it was previously a ConocoPhillips in there and a little convenience store as well. I'm sure it's just about the same thing that you're going to go back in there with.
Yeah, we're planning
other
to
than
make it
remodeling.
ExxonMobil.
So, good. All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Anyone else on council? Before I close this public hearing, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none. Mr. Schmidt moves to close the public hearing, second by Mr. Gribb. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Next on the agenda, we have another public hearing. Public hearing 14-02-003.
In accordance with Section 405-310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 10, 2014 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize special use permit to Flips Party Center to allow for the operation of a party center for the property located at number 8 Paddock Hills Shopping Center. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk before at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Ms. Shirley Gordon, are you out there? Come on up.
Shirley Gordon.
Could you step a little closer to the microphone, Ms. Gordon?
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
And I'm here about the party center at number 8 Paddock Center Plaza. It's called Flips, and it's a party center for kids. And we also do special occasion like baby showers, maybe a retirement party or something like that. We've added a bathroom to the building, refurbished the existing bathrooms, and did all the updates that the Florissant has so far required for us to do.
You're not going to have a kitchen facility there or anything like that, right?
Sir?
You're not going to have a kitchen facility there or anything like that,
It's
right?
going to be catered service.
Catered service
And
only?
we have
Okay,
slop sinks put in,
okay.
stuff like that.
Mr. Hernandez?
Hi, Mrs. Gordon. How are you doing? It just says the hours are between 10 and 11:30. This is a 7-day operation?
Yes.
Okay. So you basically it's just a facility just to hold the events, nothing else? I mean, you're going to have everything catered, whether it be a cake or drink and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's only one event going on at a time, so it's not like a different group of events. It's only one event. They're like private parties.
I see. I see. Well, I wish you luck with that, and I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Egan?
Thank you. What will your hours of operation be, ma'am?
From 10 in the morning to 11:30 at night.
And what about alcohol consumption
No alcohol.
for any events?
None.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Ms. Gordon, on this Flips, I mean, what kind of parties do you actually, I see Flips, I mean, do you have gymnastic-type
No, it's
parties?
called Flips because we change the scenery of the store depending on the event we have. Like if we're having something just for kids and they're having theme parties, they may have like Spider-Man, and then maybe the next week somebody might come in and have a Dora party. So the scenery changes and changes over, so that's why I call it flips.
Now, do you do all that old changing over yourselves, or do you
Yes.
have a
I have a
contractor
staff.
come in there and do it?
No, I do it myself.
Do it yourself? Have you been open for about, what, 3-4 months now?
I've been trying to get open for 3 or 4 months.
And you have had parties here already,
Yes,
correct?
I've had 2.
Okay. Now, you're first coming here tonight, were you told to come here tonight? Or did you get caught, or how does that?
No, I went to the hearing before this one, and I got a letter in the mail, and they told me that it was a subsequent hearing, I guess this hearing, and then I could be present or not.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Mr. Cribb?
Ms. Gordon, what will you have in here for entertainment for these little critters? Do you have like coin-operated machines or any
Well,
kind of?
at present, we don't have coin-operated machines, but we have different games that they'll play, like different like bingo games and things where they can gain points and get prizes and things like that, and things for entertainment.
I'm not real familiar with these kinds of operations, but I am familiar with Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, it's not
Now,
as bad as Chuck E. Cheese.
they have all these games that you
Yeah.
put coin. You won't
No,
have anything
I-
like that.
No, not at this time.
Okay, you entertain them. That's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Egan?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have more question. What about sound? Any bands or DJs that you anticipate coming in that would maybe create a noise situation in the neighborhood?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Thank you, Mr. Cribb. Before I close this public hearing, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Mr. Hernandez moves to close the public hearing, second by Mr. Lee. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Next on the agenda, we have another public hearing, Public Hearing 14-02-004.
In accordance with Section 405, 310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 10, 2014 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize an amendment to special use permit number 7065 to Mission Hills Development, DBA Premier Auto, to allow for exterior renovations for the property located at 2420 rear North Highway 67. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or 839 TDD 839-5142.
Mr. Dale, how are you?
Yes, good evening.
Good.
My name is Joe Dale. I represent Premier Auto for this addition and amendment to special use permit. I had some pictorials. I was trying to turn your machine. Do you just need to warm up? Okay. Just a quick question. Brad? Just a question. I noticed that I was not on further part of the agenda with the other hearings and that. Okay. The subject project is off of Lindbergh Boulevard, but in the rear, accessed by the Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is Lindbergh here. There is a cross-access easement that gets to a auto detailing building, and it's currently operating under a special use permit. What we'd like to do is add a 50 by 30 addition onto this building. And there's some unique issues with the building that has brought us here. Number one, this building here, as you can see, this looking at the right side wall is the 50-foot length that we'd like to add on to. This building is split-face block with the 3 overhead doors in it. Just past that is an original building that was built some time ago. We don't know the exact date, but it has vinyl siding on it. The building that's split-face block was built in 2004. Unfortunately, there was an ordinance that existed in ordinance at the time for clay masonry or stone. However, this building was approved with the split-face block. It's not painted, it's just sealed. There's nothing added to the block, but we had proposed to build the addition to match this building with the same natural split-face block. And again, we would be coming out 30 more feet with a couple of overhead doors, and that's built specifically for a photograph studio to take pictures of these cars after they're detailed to be posted for internet sales. That's a fairly large business here because of the internet and that. So this is what this particular edition is for. So at the planning and zoning level, I had presented this because it is a special use permit. It made sense for me to go ahead as the architect to just use a split-face block. That night, there were only 4 of the 7 members there, and the vote was 3-1, 3 for, 1 against. So I thought I would bring it to the council. I met with Mr. Hernandez, and we went over, we looked at the site, and it just made sense to match the building instead of putting a third material on it. So anyway, our elevations, again, would be, this is the 3 sides of the building with the overhead doors and the end of the building, which would completely match. The roofing material, the shingles, be a truss roof, and the split face block would be natural color, which is that, and just sealed, not painted, just to keep the water penetration from getting in through the block. So anyway, that's kind of the project in a nutshell. Again, it is a special use permit, but it's got this condition on it. Because of some past experience, I needed to get this in front of you to see if we could get it approved.
Mr. Gribb?
Normally, I am very careful when it comes to overriding the Planning and Zoning Commission on a denial. However, in view of the fact that there were only 4 members out of 7 present, you were sort of in a tight spot there. 1 vote put you out of the game. I would think, based upon my years of experience on the Planning and Zoning Commission, that you probably would have got an approval if you had more members there. But that's just sort of my guess. The mistake was made a long time ago when someone approved the split-face block for this first addition to the old building. Now we're on to an addition to the addition, and something that we have to kind of keep in mind here sometimes is common sense. But anyway, I do not have a problem with approving the split-face block as long as you don't paint it, seal it, match it to the other part of the building, and we sort of press on from there as long as you comply with all the other requirements of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I don't see Dale has a pretty valid request here to take a look at this, and maybe we should consider overriding the Planning and Zoning Commission this time and approving the split-face block, something that we don't normally do. But this is a very unusual situation.
That it is.
And as I said before, somebody made a mistake when they let this one go in. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Gribb. Mr. Hernandez?
Hi, Mr. Dale. Good to see you again. I just want to let you know that I am in support of the construction of the new addition to matches the existing building. Again, like Mr. Gribbs said, it was made long ago, but the name on that print I saw, so what is done is done. So I just want to make sure that we conform to what is there, and it is recessed way back behind the plaza and everything else as well. So you have my support for the building.
I appreciate that. It seemed like the logical thing to do. Instead of adding a third material onto a building with three, wouldn't make much sense at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Ms. Shildroff. Yes, Mr. Dale, I went by there and looked at the structure, and it's a nice-looking building. I mean, that block, there's nothing wrong with that block. It's a natural limestone color block. I mean, it's a concrete masonry block.
Yeah.
It's used widely in the construction world. I mean, that type of material. And,
It's much better than wooden siding,
Yes,
it's much more durable.
And I don't foresee no problem. I will support this 100%.
I appreciate that. I think maybe the mistake might have meant, because concrete masonry is still referenced as masonry. Your ordinance is very specific. It's clay masonry, which would be brick or natural stone. And that's easy to get confused because this type of construction material is included in the masonry terms. It just happens to be concrete masonry, but it's still, labeled as a masonry product because it's laid with mortar and grout. But it is in good shape, very strong, 12-inch block for that height. It's very strong and very thick block for going that high. So it's built very well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Before I close this public hearing, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, Mr. Hernandez moves to close this public hearing, second by Mr. Gribb. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Dale.
Thank you.
It's not on for first reading this evening, so it'll go on for first reading at the next meeting.
Tonight?
At the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have public hearing 14-002-005.
In accordance with Section 405, 310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri, in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 10, 2014, at 7 p.m. on the following proposition: to authorize a special use permit to Monroe Muffler and Brake Incorporated, DBA Auto Tire, to allow for the operation of an automotive service garage for the property located at 530 North Highway 67. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or HTTD 839-5142.
Good evening. Are you Mr. Jarrett?
Good evening. How are you?
Good, sir.
My name is George Jarrett. I represent Monroe Muffler Brake. I am the Director of Development for their organization. We operate the Auto Tire brand. We are looking to relocate our existing facility out to the former Firestone. Our lease has expired at the existing store, and we have a lease on the former Firestone location.
Mr. Gribb?
I would just like to have the council take note that this building is not in Ward 2. It's in Ward 6. So, Mr. Stunnett, it's all yours. Thank you.
How'd they get it?
Mr. Caputa, go ahead. You're first in the back batting order. Go ahead.
Yes, Ms. Jarrett, how you doing tonight?
I'm very good. How are you this evening?
Good. Do you say your current lease is up at your current location?
It is, yes.
Is that the one that's down in the same?
It's
Because
actually,
there is another Auto Tire down towards. In
At
that,
Holland's Ferry, we have an auto tire location. But this one is in the, I'm going to call it the same shopping center, but it's actually a different shopping center by landlord. So it's directly behind the Firestone to the left if you're looking at it from Lindbergh. You can probably hit it with a
yes,
rock.
that's your current location now, correct?
Correct, yes.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Mr. Stinnett.
Mr. Gerald, just always remember that there's professional jealousy from the other wards. Folks understand how good things are in Ward 6, and it bothers them. The only question I think I would have at this point in time, obviously, is the sign on the roof. What are you going to do with that?
Our intent is to use the pre-existing non-conforming sign and put a face in it, yes.
Okay.
That is our intent.
Yeah, and just so that we can say we did it, what will be your hours of operation?
They would be Sunday from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. through 7 p.m. And those are standard hours for the auto tire brand in this market.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stinnett. Mr. Lee?
Yeah, how are you? I'm going to ask the same question. And how dead set are you on using that existing sign?
I would love to use it.
I know you'd love to, but I mean, what if this, I mean, I'm just curious what it would do is if this council, that's a non-conforming use sign that we don't think should have ever been there in the first place, and I can't speak for everybody else about wanting it to come down and not use it, so has there been any consideration about different signage other than that, or?
No, but if it's not a deal killer to me because actually our position is being, for visibility, is being enhanced by going out closer to Lindbergh versus being in a strip center with, you know, just signage in line. So,
okay.
I'd love it, but it's not, I'm not going to kill the deal over it.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. All right, thank you.
Mr. Lee, Mr. Egan?
I had 3 questions, and they were all asked.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Before I close this public hearing, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this matter?
Good evening. My name is Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane. Can I move this? No, okay. It's in my way. Anyway, I was going to echo what Mr. Stinnett said because I recall that somebody had intended on doing a dent repair place last summer, and they were asked if they were going to use that sign, and they said no, and I heard the same response that I heard this evening from Mr. Lee and Mr. Egan and Mr. Stinnett. So I would hope that the sign wouldn't be used as in the details on the application. Thank you.
Mr. Stinnett moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Egan. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public hearing 14-02-006.
In accordance with Section 405, 310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 10th, 2014 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to Food for Hire, LLC, DBA Food for Hire, to allow for the operation of a food catering business for the property located at 1927 through 1929 Washington. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Ms. McCoy, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Good evening, everyone. I am here tonight to request a special use permit for the purpose of operating a catering kitchen from 1927 Washington.
Ms. McCoy, could you grab that microphone and speak into? Thank you.
Trying to get this right. Okay, so this is a diagram of the building. This is the front door here. As far as the catering kitchen is concerned, once you walk in, you have the counter. You have open spaces, which have tables and chairs in it because they came with the building. But of course, we're not going to be an eat-in, dine-in situation. We are only going to be utilizing the space to cater from. We have a refrigerator in the kitchen. We have a walk-in refrigerator in the kitchen. Over here, we do have an exhaust hood, which we have a stove, a grill, a fryer, and a convection oven. You have a back door here. You have the required 3-chamber sink, hand-washing sink, and mop sink. You have a bathroom, the back door, and an office area. I'll get that. This is kind of funny. Food for Hire is a local catering company, and we came in existence. How does this go? We came in existence in 2010. We already operate in the city of St. Louis, but we're wanting to move our operations to Florissant because I live in Florissant and so does my business partner. Now, currently, we do all celebratory events. In addition to that, we do contract catering. What that means is we cater to adult daycares, we cater to treatment centers, we cater to daycares, and we cater 365 days a year, 7 days a week, and there are some contracts where we cater 3 times a day. So with that being said, there are days where we have to supply breakfast, so we might operate as early as 5 in preparation for breakfast, and in some evenings we might operate as late as maybe 11, 11:30 to prep for the following day. I also have some menus with me. We have a breakfast menu here where we cater celebratory events, like I said, but at the same time, we do contract catering. We have a lunch menu. And if you have an event, we would love to get your business and cater to you. We also have an elegant dinner menu. And in addition to that, we have a premier menu with a little ossobuco or surf and turf prime rib, okay? We have a la carte. We have a dessert. And then we have the contract catering, which we contract to cater off a 3-week rotating menu. 3 times a week we do hot breakfasts, but the rest of them are cold breakfasts. We do a hot lunch every day. Most of our catering is centered around the lunch. You don't have, but we have 2 contracts that we cater dinner to, but the rest of them primarily are lunch. And then we have a dinner menu. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Pagano?
Hi, Ms. McCoy.
Hello.
I spoke with her a couple times about this and went up to see it again this morning. So you're strictly using it just for the kitchen?
Strictly a catering kitchen, no eat-in dining at all.
Right. And there's usually just 3 trucks for delivery?
We have 3 trucks. We have a box truck and 2 other trucks. We park in the rear. We load in the rear. We don't use U.S. Foods or Cintas. We do all our purchasing from Restaurant Depot and Sam's. So there will not be any big trucks showing up unloading.
And you are open 7 days a week?
We are open 7 days a week.
Not to the general public?
Not to the general public.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pagano. See no one else before we close this public hearing. Is anyone in attendance that wishes to speak on this? Just for this issue, sir. Thank you, Ms. McCoy. Ms. Pagano moves to close this public hearing. I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have old business, second readings. There are none. Next on the agenda, we have new business, board appointments. board appointments. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I'd like to appoint Amanda Fox to the Youth Advisory Commission.
I'll move for approval, second by Mr. Egan. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next on the agenda, we have a resolution, Resolution 968.
Resolution supporting the City of Florissant applications to East-West Gateway Council of Government Transportation Improvement Program fiscal year 15 through 18 for 3 proposed projects.
Mr. Schmidt will move for a second reading. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Resolution supporting City of Florissant applications to East-West Gateway Council of Governments Transportation Improvement Program fiscal year 15 through 18 for 3 proposed projects.
I'll move for a third. Clerk, can I have the roll call, please?
Caputa.
Yeah.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Yes.
Resolution supporting City of Florissant applications to the East-West Gateway Council of Government Transportation Improvement Program fiscal year 15 through 18 for 3 proposed projects.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Mr. Barrett? Okay.
Glad for punishment.
Thank you, Council. As we discussed in the resolution, there's 3 projects that we're looking at this year. One we tried to get last year, but we did not get an opportunity to get that. That was the Lafayette project, Old Town Street and Stormwater Phase 11. That is what they call a surface transportation suballocated fund, and what we're looking at doing there is reconstructing the streets similar to how we've done it in previous projects with new storm sewers, curb and gutter, new pavement, making ADA improvements, et cetera. That project, the limits of that will actually be from Lafayette, on Lafayette, from Lindbergh to St. Louis Street. So that's a clarification I want to make because of the diminished amount of funding that East-West Gateway has available this year, half that they had last year, and the overall cost benefit on that project. We can identify, or we have identified, the major concerns in that corridor, and it's still within this project. So for about 60% of the dollar amount that we have in there, we think we can get a very good project in that's going to address the issues that we have. So that would be available if the grant would be accepted. Money would be available in federal fiscal year 16. The other projects, the second one there is the St. Anthony Lane Bridge over Fountain Creek. For those of you not familiar with the specific creeks, that's St. Anthony Bridge between St. Judith and South Costello. It is our lowest rated open bridge. It has a structural sufficiency rating of 56% and 50 is bad. So it's still safe to drive on. It doesn't need to be shut down, but it is in need of some work. It doesn't have safety rails that are appropriate. It doesn't have ADA compliant sidewalk. So that one is eligible for funding under their BRM program, their Bridge On System program. And the last project we have is one that's came to us somewhat recently, but the replacement of the pedestrian traffic signal at Robinwood Elementary. There's just a crosswalk there at Robinwood, and that light itself is using technology that hasn't been used for a traffic signal since the 80s. They don't even supply the size heads that you use on there. So for instance, if a car were to strike that now, you'd have to start where we're at and go. You can't just hang a new light on there. They're not designed for that. There's safety issues with the way that the poles are constructed, and there's issues with ADA compliance for the ramps there. So for the kids, the safety of the kids going to and from there, and the visibility for the drivers, this is a project that we feel is very necessary. All of these projects are eligible for up to 80% federal reimbursement, so 20% minimum city match. I can say that again, the pool of funding is dropping. It's half of what it was last year. And the number of people in these seminars, Thursday we had a seminar, which is why we've made the revision to the Lafayette project. There's more people every year in these meetings, so there's a higher demand every year for these funds. You really need to show well. So one consideration that I would make, and we can get through this further down the road, is potentially considering more than a 20% match. depending upon what everyone's feeling is with that. But that way, we put ourselves in a very good shape to get these much-needed projects in. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Okay, can I speak now? Okay, I didn't know if I had a question or not, but I realized that on Lafayette, when they do the construction, I recall last year when they did the construction, it seemed like it took forever, and there was a lot of complaints from the people in that neighborhood, I know, and trying to get through there was almost impossible. It should have just been for local traffic. But I was just wondering, is there a time stamp or an estimate time that, of the repairs and how long it's going to take for these repairs, especially the Lafayette, because it's a straight street through Old Town, going through Washington and everything. And as far as bridges go and everything, this has nothing to do with the other three, but the bridge over there and that road on West Washington is terrible. Is there anything we can do about getting that, getting that pushed through St. Louis County, please? And that's all I have. Thank you.
Clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Resolution 968 passes unanimously. Next on the agenda, we have request, a special use transfer, request to transfer special use permit number 7987 from June Chen, doing business as China Garden, to Dong China Garden LLC, doing business as China Garden, for the operation of a sit-down carry-out restaurant located at 2131 Charbonnet Road. The petitioner cannot be here tonight, so Mr. Gribb moves for a postponement to our February 24th meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Mr. Lee?
Yeah, just for the record, and I don't want to make Mr. Gribb feel bad, but this is in Ward 2, not in Ward 8, so I'll make sure the record reflects that. So he'll have something to talk about next meeting.
All right. Mr. Schmidt, you didn't have anything, did you?
That's all I was going to.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have another request for a beer and wine liquor license for Parsons Convenience Stores, Inc., doing business as Newhouse Ferry Pit Stop, located at 12785 Newhouse Ferry Road. Mr. Schmidt moves for approval. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Need a second.
I'll second that.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
The request has been granted. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have bills for first reading, Bill 8970.
Ordinance providing for the boundary adjustment between St. Louis County and the city of Florissant.
Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8971.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Parsons Oil Company, LLC, DBA Parsons Convenience Store and Gas Station, to allow for the operation of a convenience store and filling station for the property located at 12785 New Halls Ferry Road.
Mr. Caputa. Mr. Caputa, go ahead.
Yeah, I move for a second reading on the ordinance for the boundaries adjustment. For discussion. For discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Second by Mr. Egan. All those in favor?
No, just for discussion.
For the purpose of discussion. Mr. Mayor?
I'd like to ask Mr. Barrett to explain what this is all about.
again, the municipal boundary adjustment that we're talking about tonight is actually a boundary adjustment of two formerly residential properties that are right next to the existing Northview High School. The special school district that operates Northview High School is going to reconstruct the existing high school. And to do that, they have to build next to the existing high school to keep the one open while they reconstruct the new one. And part of that, the school district has purchased the two residential properties, parcels that are just immediately to the east. And basically, these parcels are in St. Louis County now, and they're proposed to come into the city of Florissant. St. Louis County Council is contemplating a similar ordinance. Any specific questions about the intent of the municipal boundary adjustment probably should be addressed to the special school district and their representative here tonight. They do have Brandon Harp from CEDC, the design team, if you have questions specific to anything on the high school.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, Mr. Barrett, I guess the only question I have is that I'm to assume that Northview is in Florissant presently.
Northview is within the existing city of Florissant.
What about the high school? What about North County Tech?
Well, North County Tech is not.
That's
North
what I
County
thought,
Tech is
okay.
in county. It's a very small little cutout right there. This would actually more or less square off that corner a little bit, but yeah, Northview High School right there and Ackerman are both
And
within
Ackerman as well. That was my next question. I'll have to relook at my map because I was unaware of that. I really didn't. I assumed that those were both in, since I knew the high school was always in the county, but I always assumed that Northview and Ackerman were county as well.
Yeah, there's a little cutout there where the two residential parcels are, but they will be brought in with this municipal boundary adjustment to the city, and the new school will be built actually straddling all those property lines. So for ease of jurisdictional responsibility, permitting, what have you, I believe that's why the special school district is seeking this.
So they're going to redo Northview School.
They're going, yeah, Northview
They're going to
High
rebuild Northview School at this property and then redo something with that.
They're rebuilding the Northview High School next to the existing one.
Okay.
So it would sit on the boundary, if otherwise not adjusted.
At this point in time, we don't need to get into that because that'll come in the next wave. But yeah, for right now, this is the boundary. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Thank you, Mr. Barrett. I'll make a motion to move to continue. Second by Mr. Schmidt. All those in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda is Bill 8972.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Flips Party Center to allow for the operation of a party center for the property located at number 8 Paddock Hills Shopping Center.
Next on the, Mr. Hernandez.
I'd like to request a second, please.
Mr. Hernandez moves for a second.
Second.
Mr. Egan seconds that. All those in favor? Aye.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Flips Party Center to allow for the operation of a party center for the property located at number 8 Paddock Hills Shopping Center.
Mr. Hernandez moves for a third.
Roll call.
We have a roll call, please.
Need a second.
I'll second that.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Hernandez. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Yes.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Flips Party Center to allow for the operation of a party center for the property located at number 8 Paddock Hills Shopping Center.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, clerk, please pull the, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, I'd like to add to the to this approval of this ordinance that no alcohol will be served and no food is to be prepared on site. That to be on the
So you need
ordinance.
to make a motion for an amendment?
Make the motion for that, please. That no alcohol will be served and no food will be prepared on site.
I'll second that.
Thanks.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing no one, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett.
Yes.
Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Ordinance 8972 Bill 8972 becomes ordinance number 8021. Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8973.
Ordinance authorizing special use permit to Monroe Muffler Brake Incorporated, DBA Auto Tire, to allow for the operation of an automotive service garage for the property located at 530 North Highway 67.
Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8974.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Food for Hire LLC, DBA Food for Hire, to allow for the operation of a food catering business for the property located at 1927 and 1929 Washington.
Ms. Pagano.
Sorry.
Ms. Pagano moves for a second, seconded by Mr. Gribb. All those in favor? Aye.
Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Food for Hire LLC, DBA Food for Hire, to allow for the operation of a food catering business for the property located at 1927 through 1929 Washington.
Ms. Pagano moves for a third. Please poll the council.
Where are we? Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett. Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan. Ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Food for Hire LLC, DBA Food for Hire, to allow for the operation of a food catering business for the property located at 1927 through 1929 Washington.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Stinnett. Pagano. Schmidt. Hernandez. Lee. Gribb. Egan.
Bill 8974 becomes ordinance number 8023. 8020. I stand corrected, 8022. Pardon me. Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8975. Mr. Gribb.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple. Believe it or not, even with the cold weather we've got, the 2014 Valley of the Flowers is rapidly approaching. It's going to be here shortly. And applications for Queen candidates are still available. They can be obtained at the Valley of the Flowers office on St. Charles Street, or they can be picked up via the email off the website. So if you have interest, please do. Number two, the Friends of Old St. Ferdinand will host its annual Valentine Luncheon on Valentine's Day, Friday, February the 14th, 12 noon at the Old St. Ferdinand Shrine. Reservations are currently being accepted. Meal price of $15 includes drinks, lunch, and dessert, and will be served in the old schoolhouse. After the luncheon, there will be free tours of the Shrine Complex, which include the convent, the church building, and the rectory. If you're interested, please contact Mrs. Mary Ann Dobb at 314-479-1749, or if you forget all that, call me and I'll remind you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stinnett. Mr. Caputa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to remind everybody that February is Earthquake Awareness Month and also Black History Month. So keep in mind your history for our black citizens and everything, and to put your little emergency kit together for earthquakes, tornadoes, power outage, whatever. So it all basically is together, the same stuff in one kit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Mr. Egan.
Thank you. I would just want to recognize that my wife and I became grandparents this week since the last meeting. And if you'll zoom in, I will show a picture of the next ward for next heir for Ward number 3. There she is, a lovely Evelyn Ferris Ellerbush. That's all I got. Thank you.
Congratulations. Mr. Lee.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Egan and Mrs. Egan. I wanted to remind everybody, wards 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, residents should have gotten a postcard in the mail this week We're going to be having an open house, kind of a meet and greet on Saturday, March 1st at the JFK Community Center from 3 to 5:30. And Mr. Egan is going to be the designated hot dog barbecuer. So we're going to have a little light refreshments and invite everybody to come up and just spend some time with the council. Would like to hear from you, hear what we have to say, and kind of go from there. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I would like to thank Mr. Pete Monica, 21 Ridge Lawn in Ward 5. He called me to his residence recently and wanted me to listen to a message on his answering machine from allegedly a policeman in the Pittsburgh area, and left a number, and it sounded like a scam immediately. So immediately I called the chief, and the chief the very next day dispatched 2 officers, and Officer Harmon came out with a press release last week involving another one of the unfortunate senior scams on the phone. So I'd like to thank Mr. Monica for alerting our police department for that. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a couple of presents. This is I hope this is, well, I assume this will be Evie's first autographed book by the author. It's a version of Goodnight St. Louis. It's a book written by June Herman and Julie Dubray, and they've autographed this. It says, "For Evie, Goodnight St. Louis 2014," and they've autographed this book for her. And Rachel got her quilt, and there's a very small bottle of champagne there for Grandpa and Grandpa.
Thank you very, very much.
That's nice.
My second present to the citizens of Florissant is last week we made the official announcement that Culver's is coming to town. They still don't want us to announce the location. They want to do that themselves, but we're very delighted that they at least gave us permission to make the official announcement. And so we're very, very happy that we're able to finally say that we have a Culver's coming. And hopefully it'll be built this year. And then we also put out a request for proposals for the Plaza Madrid shopping center. We are confident enough with a developer that has put a team together to redevelop that property, and we're waiting to see if we get any other responses to that request. And we'll have some more news in the near future. I've been working on that since I got elected, and did not want to put out any false hopes and put out any request for proposals until we definitely had a player. Also, the City of Florissant and the Knights of Columbus are going to host our first food truck night on April 23rd. This event will benefit local charities, including TEAM, and so we'll have more news on that as we get closer to the event. That was very popular last year, as you may recall, and we're looking forward to, I think there's going to be 4 events this year. Carol O'Mara asked me to announce that we're going to have a public hearing for the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report on the Community Development Block Grant Program. That's going to be held at 3 p.m. on Thursday, February 20th at the Government Building. And lastly, I just wanted to, a former council member wrote a short note. Council member Ken Bond, who used to serve with me on the City Council, writes they'd like to thank all the employees in the Public Works Department for their untiring efforts to keep our streets safe and drivable during our recent winter storms. Their dedication and hard work in these difficult conditions show why our city is finest in St. Louis County. Once again, thank you for everything you did involved in the great job to clean our streets. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next meeting is February 24th at the City Hall and Council Chambers. Ms. Pagano moves for adjournment, second by Mr. Lee. All those in favor? Aye.